Hey everyone, it's been a bit, but this video is a little different than the rest of mine. This is going to be essentially the start of a series for the Thermaltake Invitational. For those of you that, I don't know, follow Thermaltake on your Instagram, you may have noticed that the Case Mod Invitational has started. What the Case Mod Invitational is that Thermaltake essentially invites 8 modders from across the world to participate in a competition where they are given the same chassis, in this case, the Tower 600, and same parts, the ASRock Z890, I forgot, Nova, I think this is, and a Pallet 4070 Ti, and a Seagate drive, and what else? Yes, an Intel 265K, and then you're to produce something of modding quality. Okay, I'll put it that way. For those of you that follow my channel, you'll notice I've made a Tower 600 modified case before, where I mounted the board in a strictly vertical position, and then I had no tubes for water cooling the entire system. Obviously, that's not good enough for this competition. Okay, even though I personally like the build, it's not enough. So, what have I done here? This is the beginning of trust me, it's the very beginning of what's going to happen with this thing. I'm going to quickly go over what I've done physically, then I'm show you guys in CAD the concept, right? But I'm also going to kind of describe the concept where this is going to go outside of CAD. So first, you can tell that this no longer really looks like a Tower 600 to an extent. I mean, it looks like a Tower 600, but it's on its side. The reason why it's on its side is because there's a pedestal and quote-unquote pedestal docking station that I haven't created yet. In CAD, you'll see where I'm going with that. So everybody that's doing this modding competition has a theme, right? That tends to be a thing. So my theme is actually going to be kind of Porsche based. I'm not going to make something directly off the car, off a 911, but I'm going to draw visual cues from it that I think the fans would appreciate. That if you're a Porsche fan, you're probably going to notice it. So let's just start with the front. This front has been recreated. I've recreated the lids because the lid is not symmetrical, the factory lids, because on the case itself, one side is different than the other in terms of the length of this angle. Now you're wondering, why did I have to recreate the lid? Well, I had to recreate the lid because I have now made the case symmetrical. Symmetrical in that I have glass on both sides. So you can see I can mount the glass here. All right. And if I rotate it around, you'll notice both sides are the same. I can still mount the glass here. So it's going to be glass on both sides. If you're wondering, that sounds like wire management terrible, right? Wire management nightmare. And you're right. That's because all the wires are going to be in the middle between the two layers. So back to what I was saying about the front. Now, you'll notice that this is obviously a vent, right? But for the Porsche fans, you're going to be able to see where I drew this from. Right? I mean, you can kind of tell where that is coming from. Now, you're wondering, why is there this opaque strip in the middle? Now, this strip is actually, there's an RGB light behind it, okay? And this strip is actually going to be I want to say, I guess, reactionary strip, meaning that this, aside from being a 911 theme, is going to have AI features. Now, how does that work? Well, there's a Raspberry Pi that's going to be running essentially some type of assistant where it's going to take my speech. The purpose of the Pi is going to take my speech and then feed that to the computer itself, which will run some type of AI model. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm going to run yet, but I might run a small version of DeepSeek. All right, since that's pretty, that's all the rage right now. And what that's going to do is that's going to then feed back the output to me through the Raspberry Pi. At the same time, that Raspberry Pi is going to run as a controller to control my lighting, to control movement. I don't know what movement yet. I'm still going to be on the design process for that right now. But that's pretty much what this strip is going to be for. So I was originally thinking I could do something like, I'll say like go into race mode. And then, for example, this light will turn red and then my fan speed will increase, something like that. All right. Not too worked out on all details yet. I still have 2 months to finish this whole thing. So let's just quickly go into this side. So you can see that right here that I'm using a 240 to cool the CPU because you're not allowed to water cool the GPU as part of the competition, because sponsor palette, right? And they don't make blocks for that card anyway. So you have to, I think that's enough. And upon my docking station, it's definitely going to be enough. So here's my GPU. You can see it's actually mounted directly onto a plate, this GPU side plate. This is actually a full cover that I created to cover the GPU completely. It's 3D printed, which this is obviously going to be post-processed, painted, and this is going to be powder coated to match. And this will be aluminum that I have to redo. This one got a little messed up, and there's also a rough. Everything you see on here is a draft. It's not final. So on top of that, you have, I think this is a 12 point, I think it's a 12-inch screen. It's got a pretty good aspect ratio, right? It's a pretty large screen. This screen will run all the displays, so I don't need an external display to hook up everything. I think that's pretty cool, right? Like people put displays, this will be my primary display for the machine. At the same time, I can then, when it's on display somewhere or something, I can still check all my stuff without having to find a monitor and so forth. Okay, so that's, and how that is mounted on here is, if we come to the other side, I have cut a bracket out of aluminum to mount it onto this bracket here. And it's kind of like that, I don't know how easy you're gonna see that, but that's kind of like how, I don't know, like a racing frame, like, like a, not racing frame, sorry. Goodness, the term slips my mind. But essentially a roll cage, yeah, it's like a roll cage design. All right, and then here we have the board also mounted onto the mother side board frame. And obviously the tubing will come here. There will be a distro over here. There will be another res down here. And all the electronics will go in the middle. And then there will be a hookup to the pedestal that's at the bottom. This is obviously going to have another screen. And also, I was thinking I may actually recreate this entire thing because I don't like the way this looks. But if I do that, I can't use the factory glass. And part of the, I guess, what you want to call a rule set is that we have to use a good portion of the case. And I'm afraid that if I remove this to make it look cleaner, I'm using way too little of the case. All right, so it's a bit of a conundrum at the moment. But with that said, let's go into the CAD. You can get a better idea where I'm going to go. So here we are in Fusion. You can see that this is the case itself. Obviously, it's got some color to it. I'm not final on the colors yet, but we will kind of work on that. I mean, I will kind of work on that eventually. So you can see here, I'm still designing the bottom, so it's very rough right now. It looks a little bit interesting in shape, but it's not the shape I'm going after. But you can see that I have 3 fans on this side. If I twirl it to the other side, I have 3 fans on this side. And this will be pushing air into the main chamber. I'm not sure about how I'm going to do the shaping and the lighting and so forth. That's still kind of very rough right now. For those of you that are curious, this color right now is actually the clay color. I think it's called, sorry, not clay, it's called chalk. The chalk color from Porsche. So if I remove the glass, you can see that I have glass on both sides, right? This is where it comes down to, it's going to be the same. Obviously, it's not this motherboard, just to have this model already. But you can see here, the front fans you saw, the grilling, this will be hydro dipped in carbon fiber. And this is obviously, let me remove this. This is just for shaping. This is the final, it's going to be red. This piece is not going to be black, but there's the screen. So this is what I was talking about, this part. I may have this moved to here on the front side. I don't know why it's not coming over, but yeah, this is the front, so it looks better, and I just cut this out, and I put the glass the other way. I don't know how that's gonna look, so I haven't done it yet. Maybe here on this side it won't look so, maybe I can move this sides. All right, okay, so that works out better. So I'm thinking about moving this here, and then moving these, rotating this over so that all of this comes here, so I have a cleaner look. For the rear, you see some exhaust ports right now, but that's probably not what we're going to go with. Reason being is, you might remember my power supply is, if we look down this inside here, my power supply is like right here. So I can't exactly have that. I need to have, I probably will do some type of lighting in a corner and not this. This was just a very draft, rough in my mind idea. So you can see that essentially in this middle here, sorry guys, let me just hide this out. This was part of some other component I was drafting. So you can see that here, hide this too. I don't know why this is so off. Can I move this to the side? Let's see. How about you just... Whoa. Okay, those two are attached. Never mind. All right, that's why it's so funny. Okay, so you can see I use cubes to attach these things. These are called mod cubes. You can ignore the additional here. I can remove that. These things are essentially M3 cubes. I bought these from V1 Tech, but Alibaba also sells them, and so does AliExpress. You can, not Alibaba, sorry, AliExpress, you can buy them there, and even smaller ones and different threads. They allow you to kind of hold two sheets together, like you see. I'll drill a hole here, I drill a hole here, and then the cubes, I just screw them together, and that allows you to have a 90-degree join, right? But they also have other angles you can go with, but you get the idea. So zooming back out, sorry, my space mouse is acting up. But essentially over here on the top layer, I'm going to have my distro right on sitting on top of this metal cover, which is non-existent in this CAD right now. And down here, let me see if I can remove this stand. Okay, so if I remove the bottom pedestal, down here is going to be probably a reservoir on this plane over here. And obviously this part will be vented so air can come in from that stand I was talking about. Obviously there's also going to be a lot of like cleanup panels for this, because this is not going to look good with no type of, some type of, I don't know. I may cover it, probably not leather, more like, Alcantara or something, something like that. Just, something. I'm not sure yet. A lot of this is kind of, in progress, right? So also I plan to run wiring in here from the front so I can hide all the wires. And then I'll make a cover to cover that, just kind of clean that up a little bit. So there's definitely a lot of stuff to be done. And yeah, here's a photo. This is actually the first Tower 600 build I did. I don't know if you guys saw that on my Instagram. I do have it on this channel. But yes, so that kind of gives you guys an idea where I'm going with this. Like I said, I'm going to be incorporating a lot of tech ideas. Obviously, this thing's also going to make noise. It might even make smoke. I have room for a smoke machine in the rear here. I know it fits. I also wanted to project a laser keyboard, but they only made one of those things. I think it was pretty popular a couple years ago, but it works miserably. And I don't think the angle projecting down here will be good or not. But I'll try it. So I'm open to a lot of things. Color scheme wise, I picked this red and gray because I originally wanted to do red and like bronze, right? Because I think they look pretty sick. But then I didn't want people thinking it was Iron Man, and I didn't want people thinking like it was, I don't know, some Chinese celebration thing. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that wasn't the theme I was going after. So I didn't want to give that, like, why is there carbon fiber on Iron Man? Something silly like that. But yeah, so obviously these panels will also get some cleanup at the end. Some type of, maybe some other type of work on them. I'm not too sure what this is going to be yet. I've only worked on this for about strictly about 2 weeks, not consistently, because I still have to do other stuff. But yeah, so show you guys what I've been up to. Before I end this video, I do want to say a quick thing about the 5000 series, which is totally unrelated to this video. I will be going over those cars in a bit. I was primarily trying to get a 5090 on launch, which is really, really rare. I want to say that just pretty much the 5000 series is more available in the 80 class, but very, very not available in the 90 class. And for those of you that are struggling to get a GPU right now, if you have 4000 series, there's no need for you to rush. If you have a 3000 series, I understand you want to upgrade, but do not pay the scalping prices. There's no reason to pay more for 5080 than you would for a used 4090. That doesn't even make sense to me. So don't fall into the hype. Obviously, there's production issues that will resolve within the month or two. So hopefully, well, at least within a month, it's gonna get a lot better. So With that said, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for part 2. When part 2 comes along, obviously more would have done by then. I would actually have the whole loop going by then at least, right? Because a lot of this stuff, like I was saying, you know, like this coloring, the powder coating, the painting, I can't do any of that until I have the thing functional, at which point I have to take it apart and then get the paint work and everything done. So the next time you see it, it's still going to look like, wow, guy, that needs work. But at least things will be on and functional. You guys get what I mean? But with that said, thanks again for watching. Stay safe and take care.